Hi, everyone. This is the very first of my new series of tutorials for coaching tools. And I just decided to record what I'm about to do because there might be other people out there in the coaching world that are interested in doing the same thing. And I know it's just kind of nice to see someone else do it and then you can follow along. So here we go. Today, I'm going to show you how to create a Google form. So let me share my screen. And we'll get started. So first and foremost, if you are planning on using a Google form, you'll need a Google account. And once you are logged into your Google account, up here in the top right corner, you can see these little dots, and that will show you the other Google apps that you can access. And I always just like to go right to Drive to make sure that I'm staying organized with what I'm doing. And here, I'll just give you a sneak peek into how I organize things. I know that files are listed first by numerical order and then alphabetical order. So if I want my own order of things, I just number them. So this is kind of in my mind, the process of bringing in a client, conducting discovery calls, enrolling the client, coaching the client, and then all sorts of other fun things. So this would be related to enrolling a client. It's an agreement before we get started. So I'll open up this form and I will come over to create a new form. And I'm just going to start from scratch. And here we are. So start off with a title. I'm going to call my form Spotlight Coaching Agreement. And I am preparing this agreement for people that just want to have a session because that's a thing. So here we go. My agreements. This is my form to set up agreements for a Spotlight coaching session. In a description, I might put more details about this. Will just lay the foundation for making the most out of our session together. And then you get into the questions. And you can play around with all the different options. The title of the question for how I'm using this form is just saying what I want to say. So the first agreement that we'll make in this case is we mutually agree to this single session of coaching. And that's it. In other agreements, the first one is we mutually agree to this program of 10 weeks of coaching or this group program of 6 sessions or this whatever it might be. And this is not multiple choice. I'm going to change the format of this question and it's going to be a simple check box. And the one and only option is agree. And when you don't need an option, you just come over to the X and you can remove it. And even though it's adding in this add option or other, that's actually not going to show up, I'm pretty sure. This means you can add this icon, always means you can add a picture. Also, for each question, you can make it required or not. And since this is an agreement where I want the client to read through everything and agree to everything, all of the questions will be required. That's the basic stuff. And I want to see how to change it to make it, a little pretty. You can customize the theme. So you can choose your color. Purple works for me. There are templates. So earlier when I did choose new, if you hit that little arrow off to the side, you can choose from a template. Here, I'm just going to choose my header image, and you can choose some of these pretty things. I like to use my logo, which, hey, I've used it before. So when you're in this section, you can upload something from your computer if you've got a logo or a design or a picture that you want to use. Done. There we go. And Google is so smart in anticipating everything. It changed my theme color to match my photo at the top. Thank you. I'll keep that. And I found that, let me hide myself for a moment. At the top of the whole screen for creating the form, there's a little artist palette, and that's where you can change the style, color, design of your form. And so once you've got a question entered, you can then add another question. And that's over here with the plus button. And when you hover over these icons, it tells you what they are. Add question, import question, make a title and description, add an image, add a video, and add a section. And what they mean by section is that if you've got a very big form of different information you need to collect, you can break it into sections. For example, at my daughter's school, we submit weekly lunch orders. So the first section is collecting my contact information. The second section is placing the actual order day by day. Then the third section is agreeing to all the dietary restrictions or allergies or other info and all of those other details. So for this kind of client agreement, I don't think you need multiple sections, just your one section with all your agreements. I believe, yes, back to creating more questions. If you're using the same format and the same style, you can come here to the duplicate and just tap that, and then you don't have to format everything again. So my next agreement would be something like, we mutually agree to be on time and create a sacred space present and free from distractions. Agree, checkbox. Okay, so let me just pause. No, that's fine. Let's say you're finished with your form and you want to see how it looks. You come back up to the top. I'm just going to hide myself down here. And this little eyeball icon is to preview what your form looks like. So when somebody opens it up, this is what it would look like. I don't love how this is chopped up, but I can deal with that. So it's got your picture at the top, your title, and it shows these are required, these are required. So the person would tick the box and then hit submit. How do we go back? I feel like it's not scrolling up. Okay, just close that. There you go. You may also want to put in a spot for them to write their name and their email, which is fine. Oh, let me show how I do the signature. There are several other agreements. Let's add a final question. Let's see, how did I put this? I think your name is your digital signature. And so since you want them to input their name, it either read my mind or just knew how to jump to this. It changed. Google has decided this should be a short answer question, and they are correct. So the short answer text would be the person entering their name. And when I had done this before, I got kind of fancy and I had saved my signature. Look, I've got signatures here. But which one was the one I used? It helps when you've got all your stuff saved in an organized way, which I'm showing that I don't have right now. Well, we'll just do my first name. There we go. And this is I think it's a ping that was created just from writing my name and scanning it and saving it. So, and that would be required. So there we are. Let's see how that looks. We agree, we agree. So yeah, it has my signature, which is so big. I don't need it to be so big. And then your answer signed below and they would submit. So that is the shortened, condensed version of what that looks like. I'll share my full complete version with everybody just so you can see the language I choose to use. Some other features inside the form. Oh, let me actually call this. Did you guys see that? I wish I could go back and show you that. It was calling this untitled form. And as soon as I went up to type the name, it guessed the name Spotlight Coaching Agreement based on what that's called. Google is really into the intuition. The settings, like when somebody fills out the form, you can choose to collect their email. I'm not really sure what that means. If you're sending a person a form, that means you already have their email. And really, you don't need to use any special settings for this, I don't believe. And then when you choose to send it, you can send it straight to any person. And they'll just get a simple email with this subject line and this message. I prefer to send my emails in a particular format with my full signature and all of that. So I would always lean towards copying the link. And when you copy it, then you can put it into an email. So let's say I'm going to open an email. My client. And I do all my fancy stuff, whatever. And here's another of my favorite tricks. You don't have to show the whole URL. We love to highlight and insert the link, paste what I had. And now that just looks a little bit prettier without all the computer jargon sticking out there. So that's what it would look like inside the email that you send. So that's how that works. This is for you super fancy people that want to embed this form into your website. That's another topic for another day. So that's it. And anytime that you want to come back and add to it, you just come back and update it. That's why I like Google Drive. Anytime you touch anything, it saves your changes already. And then after people start answering your form, you can always come back here and see their responses. I'm not really sure why you would have to do that, but if you feel compelled, it's there. So, after 5 years of coaching and you want to, do an audit of how many agreements you sent out in a time frame, you can come back here and see it all there. There you go. So I think that wraps it up for my first ever bumbling, meandering tutorial on how to create a Google form. So if you have any questions, want any particular pointers, if there's something that you're trying to do that you want to give it a go, but you're just not sure where to get started, let me know. There's a good chance I've done it before and I would love to walk you through the steps, or maybe I've never done it before and I want to give it a try with you. So I'm happy to tinker and play and explore and experiment and mess it all up. And then once I have it figured out, I'll show you the shortcut of how to actually make it work. So I love learning together. I'm happy to be the guinea pig. Okay, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. I hope it was helpful.